You're 29. You're building something. Your career, your relationship, your life, or just yourself. And then you receive a letter. Not a letter from your mother or your aunt, but a letter from the government telling you that you're about to turn 30, and that is the age when the fertility declines. It encourages you to plan ahead. It's framed as neutral, and it claims that it's been sent to both men and women. But when the state starts talking about your reproduction rights, we need to ask some questions. Is this helpful information, or is this demographic anxiety dressed up as concern? Today we're going to be discussing France's fertility letters that they're going to be sending out to everyone who's turning 30 this summer of 2026. But when France sends out letters of fertility to their younger population, reminding them that they're hitting the 30-year clock, we need to ask a deeper question. It's about who gets to control the timeline of your life. Let's start fairly. The birth rate of France has been declining humongously, and most of Europe's as well. Fewer baby means aging population, strain on the economic growth, strain on the pension systems, and fewer people paying taxes. Demographers call this the fertility crisis. Welfare state scholars like Esping Anderson argue modern economies depend on stable birth rates to sustain social systems. The state needs babies and individuals need autonomy, and that's where it doesn't align. 29 is not just a number. It's before you turn 30. It's culturally loaded. Biologically, fertility does decline in your late 20s. That's technically medically true. But here's what's rarely emphasized. Many women conceive naturally in their 30s as well. Many males experience lesser fertility as they gradually grow old. Social, financial, and relational readiness often improves after your 30s or when you're 30. So why 29? Because 30 carries symbolic oppression. Sociologist Ulrich Beck described modern life as a risk society. We are constantly warned about future regret. Fertility messaging taps directly into that fear. What if you wait too long? Fear is a powerful policy. The French government sent the letter to both men and women. On paper, that's equality. But in reality, is it really? The sociologist Judith Butler reminds us that gender is lived, not just written into policy. Women always hear, tick tock, your biological clock is ticking. Don't focus too much on your career. Your time is running out. You're meant to be a mother. Oh, you are so motherly. You have such good motherly instincts. Why aren't you thinking about having a baby? You're already 30 past. Oh, you don't have a partner? Have you looked at your options already? The social clock is always ticking on women. But have you ever seen the same clock being danced upon the men? Men rarely experience the social countdown. In fact, if a man gives birth to children in their 40s and their 50s, it's looked at as a sign of his virility, as a sign of how fertile he is, as a sign of his manpower. And if women give birth to children in their 30s and their 40s, they're looked at as, oh, she's too old to be a mother. Oh, you're already looking like a grandmother for your own children. But the man? Never really. So when the state reminds you that it's for both genders equally, the consequences aren't for both. Is housing affordable for younger adults? Is childcare accessible and affordable? Are workplaces flexible? Is domestic labor equally shared? Sociologist Arlie Hochschild coins the term the second shift, that is, women working full-time jobs and then coming home to unpaid domestic labor. Even in progressive societies, women need to do the caregiving all the time. After the women are at work, they're doing the work, having a child at home, having the nanny at home, they yet come home, and if they have access to nanny, fantastic. But if they don't have access to nanny, or if they don't have access to domestic help, women are usually doing double shifts. Because once they work at work, then they come home, then they cook, they clean, and they get the house organized. You do say that, okay, the men contribute, but in most societies, in most countries, women do have to do the double shifts. So when governments say have children, women hear, okay, so it's more unpaid labor, unpaid work for me to bear. If reproduction is the national priority, support should also match the rhetoric. French philosopher Michel Foucault introduced the idea of biopolitics, how governments regulate populations by influencing bodies and behavior. This isn't forced reproduction, it's subtle, gentle nudging. There is a term for it, pro-natalism. That means that women should produce for the better, for the good of the society. You see it in tax incentives, family values rhetoric, public anxiety about decline. But pro-natalism rarely asks, do women really want it? Are they safe through it? Is labor equally distributed? Instead, it frames motherhood as moral duty, feminine fulfillment, national contribution. As the French philosopher Simone de Beauvoir said, one is not born, but rather becomes a woman. And often becoming a woman means becoming a mother, ideally on time. Men age, women are timed. Women carry pregnancy risks, career penalties, postpartum labor, disproportionate caregiving. So when we speak about motherhood penalty, it's about reduced lifetime earnings, stalled promotions, wage gaps that often widen after childbirth. So the fatherhood bonus, what is that? The men's wages increase after having children. Modern societies tell women, be ambitious, be educated, be independent. Then quietly add, but don't wait too long. Don't delay motherhood. Don't prioritize your career too much. These contradictions create a heavy role strain. Women are asked to compete in capitalist economies, maintain domestic stability, reproduce on schedule, remain attractive, stay emotionally available, and always smiling. But when the birth rate falls, the blame shifts towards women's choices, rarely toward unaffordable housing, insecure jobs, pay parity, unequal lack of childcare, unequal domestic labor. But let's ask a simple question. If the governments want babies, what kind of a life are they offering the parents to be? In France, childcare is subsidized, parental leave exists, but even their cost of living has risen. Housing markets are crazy. In countries like South Korea, Italy, birth rates are even lower, despite incentives. Why? Political theorist Silvia Federici argues that women's reproductive labor has historically been treated as unpaid infrastructure for capitalism. Raising children produces future workers, sustains economies, stabilizes the society. Yet this labor remains undervalued, underpaid, and invisible. So when states are worried about fertility, they are not worried about babies. They are worried about labor supply, economic continuity, pensions, who's going to pay for the pension? And women's bodies become sites of policy anxiety. They signal what age is correct, what timeline is ideal, what life path is expected out of you. That's power, even when it's polite. It's what's been happening for decades, where we've been given this narrative, we've been sold this policy, this framework of life, which now gets into policy, which is at 30, by 30, you should get married. You should have already found a partner by the age of 30. Once you've had your partner, you have kids. By the age of, many a times you'll hear, I'm from India, so I'm going to give you examples from India, of course, as well. By the age of 30, by the age of 25, I had 2 kids, my aunt would say. By the age of 30, I was already looking at my 3rd kid. So it's these timelines that have been defined for decades that still continue. But maybe our parents' times were very different than our times. There wasn't a housing crisis at that time. Things were not expensive like it is today. We have more options, so we are even more confused of what we want, what we don't want. Are we on the right path? Are we not on the right path? Is it the right partner for us? Is he not the right partner for us? Do I even want children? I'm not maternal enough, but maybe I should have it. But hey, it's a lot of hormonal change and lifestyle changes, and it's expensive. Do you think I can afford it? I don't think I could afford it. I don't want to sacrifice my life. Oh, but they say that I should. Oh, but now there's a letter. Let's be clear. Feminism isn't anti-motherhood. It's anti-coercion. Some women want children at 35, some at 25, some never, some are unsure. You must have heard many a times, your main goal, your main role, you can only be complete as a woman if you give birth to a child. Haven't you heard that? Haven't you heard that in your society? Haven't you heard that in your country, or in a movie, or in pop culture, or somewhere? A woman's duty is fulfilled if she gives birth to a children. It's like, to a child. Or children, wow, voila. It's like, that's the main goal of a woman. in this life. If she doesn't give birth to someone, it's 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 as if her duty is unfulfilled. But many women have different duties. Many women have different desires. Many women have different needs, wants, and objectives in life. And is it right to force it on us that this is what you're supposed to do? This is what you're supposed to have. And if you don't do it, you are not womanly enough. Have we said that to men? Ha! Ha! Have we said that to men? You're not manly enough? When we've said that to men, we've seen what the reactions have always been. The question here isn't should women have children. Asking the question, are women free? Are they really free? Culturally, socially, economically, financially, to be able to make that choice? Because choice without structured freedom isn't choice. So why are women delaying childbirths across Europe and in many other places? It's not career obsession or it's not selfishness. It's longer education periods, it's job insecurity, it's expensive high housing prices, it's the climate change, it's the climate anxiety, it's the paradox of choice of having men who never commit or having men who are unsure, who are ghosting, breadcrumbing, paper clipping, and doing all of that. Sociologists call this the second demographic transition, a shift toward later marriage, fewer children, and individual self-development. Modern adulthood requires financial freedom before family formation. Back in the day, it was different, but today, it is very important to have that financial freedom when you are juggling two jobs, you are trying to make a business out of the third, you're trying to have passive income, you're paying your rent, you have student loans, or you have taken loans to build up the business because you don't come from generational wealth. Then you have a partner who maybe comes from generational wealth, or maybe he doesn't. When you are juggling between all these things, it's harder to find romance. And even if you found romance, you found a partner who's patient through it all and who's building the same goals as you are, then voila, that's perfect. But if you're not, if you haven't found that, then it's also a big mismatch. If stability comes at 32, 35, 40, and not 25, then naturally fertility will be pushed for later. Policy cannot override economic instability. In France, they're going to receive letters this year. In India, we've been receiving it informally forever, be it from your aunt, your mother, your extended family, your relatives, anyone, even your friends at some point, that, oh, you are too old. What are you doing? Haven't you found someone for yourself? Tell your parents to arrange marriage you into something or find someone because I mean the clock is ticking. What are you doing? Akeli reh jayegi. Akeli reh jayegi fir kya karegi? You'll be left alone. What are you going to do? I'm going to find this person. I think he's a nice boy for you. Let's meet the families. Let's get you married because now you have to give birth to children. It's ticking. But many modern Indian women are rejecting this. They're marrying later. They're not even marrying at all. They're focusing more on their careers. They're trying to build their own wealth. They're prioritizing education, freezing eggs, and many a times choosing child-free lives. That is something is very hard for us to believe in India, but it exists. Many women don't want children. And that needs to be respected. If she wants a child, she will have it. If she can have a child, and if she wants it, she will have it. But if she consciously decides not to have it, that needs to be respected as well. Because remember, the woman's ultimate goal is not to give birth. And if the problem were truly demographic, countries with low birth rates would welcome migrants. They would make integration easier. They would invest in language training. But instead, many low birth rate countries tighten immigration, stoke replacement fears, politicize identity. This reveals something very deeper. If the crisis were truly about numbers, immigration could be the solution. The anxiety isn't just about population. The anxiety isn't just about population. It's about which population? If governments really cared about women having children, enforce equal parental leave, reduce housing insecurity, secure affordable childcare, eliminate workplace discrimination, normalize child-free lives, respect these choices as well. Instead of sending reminders, they would remove fear altogether. Because fertility doesn't decline only with age. It declines with stress, instability, inequality, and precarity. So when a government sends a letter reminding women about their fertility, it's about something way deeper. It's about fear. Fear of demographic decline, fear of economic shutdown, fear of losing control over the future. A woman's body is not a demographic strategy. Choice only exists when delay is respected. Refusal is valid. Motherhood is supported, not romanticized. Respect the decision of each woman and not force it onto them. Child-free lives are not treated as failure. Recognize that women are not here just to give birth. That's not their ultimate goal. There's a lot more that a woman can do and can choose to do. And perhaps the most radical response to any fertility panic is, I will decide if, when, whether, not because the nation is anxious, because my life is mine.